Get a
Good
chance
morning.
now to meet Mark Ziegler from the city of Shelton for the Focus on Shelton, brought to you by our Community Credit Union. Community Development Director, Mark, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you in here.
Thanks. Appreciate you having me.
I was telling the guys about empty bowls last night, and first time my bowl didn't make it through the process. I did the coil, and I don't think I coiled it tight enough.
Yeah, that's it's not an exact science.
It's,
I don't think.
no, it's not.
There's human error involved, and then there's a lot of heat, in the kiln.
So that was the question. What's the temperature those get at? Do you remember that?
It's like 1,200 degrees
man, I
or
was
something.
way
It's
off.
crazy. Yeah, it's really hot, and then there's moisture in that clay, and then if it's too thick and too much moisture, it wants to escape too rapidly, and that's where they blow up.
Yeah.
So they call them kiln bombs, and
Whew.
yeah, so that's why we recommend you keep them a certain thickness, and and then you have the issue of you have multiple pieces that aren't bonded together,
Sure.
and they'll come apart in the drying process too in the kiln. So
I did see in the box of the broken artifacts, there didn't seem to be a whole heck of a lot. So for the
No.
most part, people are able to get that all figured out.
yeah, it was fairly successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've come out of there with a pretty big mortality rate over some years. And
I
you feel
bet.
kind of bad. You walk in with this box of shreds and
Yeah.
shards. And,
Good luck finding you.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Maybe next year. Come back for the
Yeah,
fundraiser.
it's now what do you call it? You can make a mosaic, or
Yep.
it's abstract art now, and so yeah.
Those are just one of the many great community events that the city puts on. And when you're there, you see a lot of folks wearing the red aprons. And for the most part, those are all volunteers, right?
Absolutely.
That's
yeah.
a big deal for the city, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we can't do a lot of our work through many different departments without volunteers, and having the community engaged to help us out and to provide the services that the community wants, desires, and needs is really incumbent upon active participation. And we have opportunities right now for folks to be involved, and you don't even have to be a city resident.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got openings on the Historic Preservation Board, the Arts Commission that puts on empty bowls, amongst other events, as well as the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee.
What are some of the main aspects of those? Let's start with the Parks and Rec Advisory
Yeah.
Committee.
It's really interesting. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee has been around for a number of years. They've kind of been inactive for the last couple of years. Partly when I took on my new role in community development, I was doing a little less in Parks and Recreation. Now that we have a recreation coordinator on board, and we are entering into our Parks and Recreation comprehensive planning. So we're Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan, which is essentially our long-range planning document. Tells us where we want to go, what we want to do, what the community's needs and desires are, and what levels of service standards we're going to follow.
So I remember Lacey had something 2 years ago. Mayor over there, Andy Ryder, he was looking to make it so everybody would be able to walk to a green space.
Yeah.
Are those the types of
That's
things?
exactly it. Our current standard is a park within a half mile of everybody that lives in the city, whether that's neighborhood park or community park. That we're going to explore those examples, levels of service standards as in acres per thousand. How many acres of parkland would we desire and want to achieve in the city that would meet those standards? So those are all things we'll do, and it'll be a big public process. So
Sure.
we've got a consultant that'll help us draft that plan and work through the public process with that. But we certainly want our advisory committee to be integral in that piece and be a sounding board. And then that'll partner with our community forums, surveys, opportunities for feedback throughout the process. It'll be a year-long process.
Did that advisory board, are they the ones that brought us, I guess maybe most recently, maybe not, the off-leash dog park area at Neeland Park?
You got it. Yeah, exactly right. That was born out of the advisory committee. And they actually put that out as a priority, reached out to the community. We did some master planning and site development exercises. More people from the community got involved and started the fundraising process. And that's what, created that dog park. So those are absolutely the things that come out of that committee.
When it comes to the housing, historic preservation, and things
Yeah.
like that, every year, it gets 1 year older, so that means 1 year on the back end, these houses potentially are available for this distinction.
Absolutely.
What are some of those requirements for either the houses and for the committee?
So the committee really most likely responds to requests to be placed on the historic preservation list or the inventory. They may designate areas or districts, historic districts. We have one in downtown Sheltonville that is the post office, north kind of Green Diamonds property, the Colonial House, past Franklin, Cedar Street, in that area as well. So they'll work on designating what those areas are, reaching out to those property owners, telling them what the implications are of being on the historic register, and work with them to designate and recognize their structures as historic structures in the city of Shelton.
So if you get on that list, you're not going to be able to take off the trellises or whatever and make it like some square modern.
There are some
right?
there are some limitations on what you can do with your building. Yeah, we want to preserve the historic integrity of these structures. So those need to go through a design review committee, which is part of the Historic Preservation Board. But quite often there's a lot of benefits to that. The value of your property
Sure.
is increased. There can be loans, grants available. There can also be some property tax savings on those too. So there's some benefits there to being on the Historic Preservation Board outside of just the intrinsic value of preserving some of our history and our local history and making that available to everybody in the community to witness.
Yeah.
Is that limited to a certain number, like in a certain period of time? Or
Not at all.
No.
And is it just residential or commercial as well?
No, it's residential, commercial. Yeah.
Huh. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you go to the website, find out the forms, or what are the deadlines?
Yeah, they're on our website. There really aren't any deadlines. They meet monthly and can review those applications monthly, work through that process as they come up. So some of the things they're working on now is making sure that we have all of our structures or areas, sites on the historic register identified. So there's plaques, information available, so the community can recognize those, and they are identified out there in the general public.
Triple dub. I don't know if people say that anymore. www.ci.shelton.wa.us. We'll put the links to that when we post this, and you can see there is a Metropolitan Park District meeting coming up on the 19th. So that's on Tuesday.
Yeah,
cool.
Exactly.
Well, good to see you.
Likewise, I appreciate your
meeting you.
time. Thanks
Been
for
a little
letting me come in.
bit since you had in here.
Yeah.
Jordan's doing a great job.
She is, yeah, and that's the Arts Commission. We have one opening on there too. So anybody that's interested in these advisory committees,
And they pick the paintings, the mixed
rotating
media
art gallery,
stuff on the rotating art gallery.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, it's fun.
Mark Ziegler from the City of Shelton, Community Development Director. As always, the Focus on Shelton is brought to you by our Community Credit Union.